George Clooney played a character where his job was to fire people. He would literally travel to different states and he would fire people en masse on behalf of management because they were too scared to fire them themselves. He enjoyed traveling. He would hook up with a woman from time to time. You know, one of the most important parts of the movie is when he came back from a long trip, he went into his house and everything was empty. He didn't have anything in there. He didn't have food. He didn't have that much furniture. But when his neighbor saw that he was back home, it was a beautiful young woman. She was like, "Hey, how you doing? I didn't know that you were, back." She gave him his mail or something like that. And then he looked around. He was like, "Hey, you want to get together, open a bottle of wine tonight?" And she was like, "No, I can't do it because I got a boyfriend now." And he was kind of like, shocked, like, "Man, my day one is in a relationship, so now I can't use her to get my needs met." And that was the funny thing about the movie, is the fact that they showed him just being a simple, somewhat bachelor, enjoying his life, traveling from place to place. Then he met this young woman. They were sitting in the airport lounges. He started talking to her. They started sharing their elite status cards, would get into the concierge lounge of American Airlines. They hit it off. They were both travelers and they ended up hooking up. They went back to his hotel room, had sex. Then they made sure that they exchanged schedules and they would link up wherever they would meet in whatever city they were traveling to. So that was their routine for like the whole movie. But then when you find that one woman and you're like, "Man, I really like this girl. I want to settle down with her." Then out of the blue, you get kicked in the nuts. And that's pretty much what happened to George Clooney's character in this movie.
So I was in the neighborhood.
Okay, so real quick, let me explain to you what's happening. So he pretty much popped up on the woman that he was seeing on and off every time he would travel. He found her address. She opens the door and she sees him. And when she opened the door, he was like, "Hey, so I was in town," and he heard kids running around in the background. So that threw him for a loop because he didn't know that she had kids. And he also didn't know this.
Hey, honey, who's at the door?
It's just locked.
The woman that he was having pretty much a relationship with, she's actually married. And he didn't know that the whole time. Remember, like I said, guys, when you watch this movie, they have been seeing each other for a while, to the point that George Clooney actually ended up inviting her to his sister's wedding. So he thought that they were in some sort of relationship where he found this woman that fits into his program. His program is traveling. Her program is traveling. So he was like, "Oh, this is perfect. And I like her. And I'm starting to catch feelings for this woman," because he was seeing her every time they would travel. But when he popped up, he found out that she was married and she had kids. He was the side dude. So let's continue.
Alex?
So this is the first time that they're calling each other. So after he left, I guess it's about a couple days later, she called him, and this is the conversation that they're having for the first time after he popped up at her house. Listen to what she says.
What were you thinking showing up at my door like that?
I mean, I wanted to see you. I didn't know you had a family. Why wouldn't you tell me that?
Look, I'm sorry I ruined your evening, but I mean, you could have seriously screwed things up for me. That's my family. That's my real life.
I thought that was a part of your real life.
Look at his face. Look at the hurt. Remember, he was a, swinging bachelor. He was getting whatever he wanted, but look at him now. He was ready to get out of the dating market, found the perfect woman, and she was married and had a family, and she has no remorse whatsoever. You play your part, brother.
I I thought we signed up for the same thing.
Look,
Try and help me understand exactly what it is that you signed up for.
I thought our relationship was perfectly clear. I mean, you are an escape. You're a break from our normal lives. You're a parenthesis.
I'm a parenthesis.
I mean, what do you want? Tell me what you want. You don't even know what you want. I'm a grown-up, okay? So if you would like to see me again, then give me a call.
and she's still down with the get down. She said, look, if you still want, give me a call if you still want to hang out. So she told him, wait, hold on. I'm not going to give it away. Well, here we go.
Okay.
What was so powerful about this movie is the fact that you rarely see George Clooney play a part where he's off his square. He's pretty much the cool, calm, and collected guy where he gets all the women. But this movie, it actually showed his character actually being vulnerable. And I know a lot of guys go through that because of the fact that sometimes you feel like you found the one and then the rug gets pulled up from under you. And basically what she was telling him is like, hey, I think like a man. And she had a great line in there in the movie where she actually told him, I am just like you, except I have a vagina. Okay. Now, I wanted to stop it right there. That's exactly what she said. And that's why I keep telling you guys, when women show you who they are on social media and they make videos like the other young woman that we just watched, that's who she is. There's no need to try and save every woman, guys. I don't try and save every man. If a guy is like, look, man, I'm done dating in the States, brother, I'm not going to sit there and degrade you and say that you're wrong. No, if that's what you want to do, then that's what you're going to do. Same thing with these women. But George Clooney's character did not listen. He thought that he was such a great man. I can make her change. You can't, bro. She got to come to that realization for herself. No matter what you do and what type of lifestyle you show her, if she's not ready to settle down like this woman, you got to leave it at that. Either you stop dealing with her or you play the damn game. That's all you can do. Okay? And I guess he didn't put two and two together by, actually analyzing what she actually meant by that. She actually meant, yes, I am in fact just like you. So that's why that movie means so much to me. And that's why therapy is so important. And I tell guys, the way that you deal with quote unquote heartbreak is not to sit there and take it like a man. No, go get some help. So shouts out to the movie Up in the Air, George Clooney. But guys, you have a decision to make. You have to ask yourself, are you going to be, want to be one of these guys that live this Papa was a Rolling Stone, so to speak, lifestyle, or do you want to settle down? And if you do want to settle down, you need to start making plans to do so. And that means you can't be as selfish as you would when you're by yourself. You need to kind of make space for somebody to be in your household. And you also need to be prepared to acknowledge somebody else's feelings and understand them and, adjust if need be. These are the things that come with being with a woman. And so these are things that I had to think about and I had to discuss in therapy. Was I ready to be a husband? Because some guys, they are not ready. And that's perfectly fine. Just be honest with yourself. If you feel content with just being a guy that plays the field and enjoy himself, I'm not going to say anything about that. God knows I did it and I enjoyed it. I have no regrets about it. But at a certain point, you're going to have to ask yourself, is this the life that I want? And that's going to be the hardest decision that you ever have to make, because you have to keep in mind that you have to take care of another person. No matter what women say in regards to this feminist movement and all that type of stuff, it still boils down to the husband taking care of his wife. So if you're up for that challenge, make sure you start preparing to do so right now. If not, enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the dating market. Be safe. Protect yourself, from unwanted pregnancies, STIs, STDs, and you'll be okay. You can do that. Just make sure that you're in a stable place to do so. But that's a question that you guys need to ask. And I'm glad that I was able to share that story with you guys. And, hopefully it gets you to think that, hey, is this the lifestyle that I want to live? Or do I want to live my life with someone else? And that's ultimately your choice. said 199 super chat said I'm lost for words, shaking my head. Will 199 super chat said his close to home. Yeah, man, I got a story. Yeah, hold on. Jonathan, what up though? $10 bomb said I'm snitching on her. I don't care. Cries in the car and the shower. What's up, media man? Great stream as usual. All that shit would be funny. They need to have a alternate ending with Jonathan G. After he asked, honey, who was that? And you I hate bringing this brother up because he got a gang of shit going on. But when he's like, honey, who was that? Jonathan G would be down there. Here I go. 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 Busting the door. It's me. I've been seeing this woman for a while now. We cousins. Here I go. Shout out to Mystical. And you go bust up everything. I crying. Yo, Jonathan G crying, busting in the house. Yeah, nah. You gonna know me. Yeah. I love this woman. Yeah, just burn it all down. You just want to see the world burn. Eh? And Jonathan G, you telling everything. Oh man, that would be so funny. Yeah, I was like, man, say something, but he was just too hurt, man. He just backed out. He's like, I can't do it, man. But when I was younger, man, I had that situation happen to me before. Going back to William, yeah, man, I had a situation like that. And I told this story before. I met this. I went to the Raiders Redskins game, right? Oh, I said Redskins. The Commanders now. I'm old, but it was when they were the Commanders game. Went to the game, had a great time, and the Raiders had won the game, so I was like happy about that. And I was on Instagram of all places, and I was like looking at the hashtags. I was just getting familiar with Instagram, and I clicked a hashtag or whatever, and they were talking about the game. And I seen this beautiful woman. She was under one of the hashtags talking, and she was talking mess about the Commanders because she was a Commanders fan. And she had went to the game as well, but I didn't know her at the time. And I had commented something like, oh yeah, y'all took that L or something like that. And me and her, we just start talking under the comment section under this post. And then the conversation went over to DM. So we started talking over DM, and she was like, oh yeah, I'm living in what's that? It's a town like a little bit further out of Alexandria, Virginia. William is familiar with this. Maybe in like Norfolk or something like that. She lived in Norfolk. And so I was living in Alexandria at the time. So we was like scheduling times when, either I was going to go out there or she was going to come up to Alexandria. I was like, cool. So we started talking. She's like, yeah, I'm going to come out there. I was like, oh, great. So she drove out there, drove up to Alexandria to come see me. We went out for coffee. Yeah, went out for coffee. Starbucks was around the corner. And we were, this is a girl where I was talking about her job because she was a counselor or a therapist or something like that. And I had just took a class about therapy, and we were talking about that, getting along great. Everything was cool. I was like, oh man, this girl's amazing. So then, she left, went home, didn't sneak in or nothing like that. We talked a little bit more, and we scheduled another time where she was going to come out. So she drove back out again. And so we had great conversation, and I'm thinking I'm maturing because I'm getting to know this woman. Because when I was younger, I'd be like, man, I need to sneak in, or this is all for naught. But I was trying to mature and have important conversations with her. And I was asking about her job, where she was from, and doing everything that you would want an attentive man to do. And so she was answering them, and she was playing the part, and we sitting in the house, and I was like, oh yeah, so it's getting late. I don't want you to drive back home so fast, so late. So she got back in her car. She drove all the way down to Norfolk. So then when we started talking a little bit more, the conversation started to get a little light on her end. I'm like, damn, what the hell happened? What did I do? And so then finally, I asked her, I was like, hey man, let's go out on a date, maybe 2 weeks later. And she was like hesitant. She was like, you know what? Cool. So went out on the date or whatever, went nice dinner, Bonefish Grill, and came back to the house. And so I'm sitting there being a jabbermouth or whatever, talking and just yik yakking. So finally, she made a move, and I was like, "Oh, we about to get to it." So I was like, "Let's go ahead." So we get into it. We do our thing or whatever. Yeah, she was like, "Man, she told me, she was like, look, if nothing didn't happen this time, I told myself I'm not driving back to Alexandria, Virginia." And I'm sitting there shocked, like, wait, I'm trying to have conversation with you, and all you trying to do is get in my drawers. That's what I felt so stupid. And she was like, yeah, man. She was like, you was sounding like Barack Obama, but when you get in the bedroom, you turn into 50 Cent. I'm like, oh my God, like this girl. So she was just trying to sneak in, she was trying to get to it. I'm like, okay, so I see what it is now. So we had a great little, relationship going on. She would come out, I would go out there. Everything was going well. I ended up posting a picture of me and her on my Facebook. I don't even do that, but I posted a picture because I'm thinking that this woman is great. I done found the one, these damn Virginia girl here, they got me, and my family is commenting on her like, man, she looked like a young Janet Jackson, congratulations, and I'm like, oh man, thank you. I'm happy about my new little girl. And so one day I get off work, get back from the gym, and I got a message on Instagram, and I check it, and I'm looking at it, I was like, man, who is this? This guy was like, hey, is this Will or something like that? And he was like, hey, do you know such and such, the girl's name? I'm like, what? And so I sent the screenshot it and I sent it to her. I was like, who is this? And so while I sent it to her, I clicked his profile to see who he was. First picture that popped up was him and old girl. No lie. Just hugged up. And at the bottom of it, it said, celebrating our 7th anniversary or some shit. And I'm like, oh. It's like, is this girl married? It's like, oh no. My heart sank. And at the time that I found this out, she called me like immediately. And I was like, are you married? And she was like, oh, I thought you knew. What? Why would I know that you married? And she was like, well, because I kept driving out there, you can't come here, obviously. I'm like, what? So I had to go on Facebook and delete this, pictures and shit. And I was like, man, how was I supposed to know? So yeah, she ended up being married, man. And I thought I had found the one, so I had to cut her off, man. And she's like, she still wanted to come through. And I'm like, hell no, you got some dude, your husband messaging me, and I could have been into some shit because of your ass. See, don't ask the right questions. So in a sense, I got to take accountability for not asking that woman, hey, you got something going on? Because most times us men, we don't want to mess up the booty. So we ain't gonna ask. If a woman is giving up some rhythm, we gonna play into it like, oh man, she feeling me. So I don't need to ask these questions if she married, because if she is married, then that's gonna turn her off. And then I gotta have some moral standing to turn this beautiful big bootied woman out, down and not mess with her. So we don't ask the questions, but we should. So that was kind of my fault. And it was definitely her fault for not telling me so I can make the decision for herself. But she told me, she's like, nah, you seem like if I would have told you that I was married, then you wouldn't have, messed with me. And I'm like, you damn right. And she got me, man. It's like, huh. So yeah, William, I've been through it too, man. So it was sad. I was tough. It's tough. And I remember when I told this story before, somebody was like, if she married, how was she able to sneak off and drive to Alexandria? Brother, I never asked those questions in my life. And I know people think like, man, nah, ain't no husband gonna let their woman keep driving up to Alexandria. I didn't ask those questions. I don't know what type of situation they had. I just know that the girl was married, and I didn't ask the right questions. So some of that shit falls on me. but she got me. So I know I've been through it too, man. So got my heart hurt by, but now I got, hey, these Virginia women, man, I told y'all they the best.